Where does your favorite NFL team's quarterback rank for 2022? What's up, y'all? NFL Talk Zone here today to talk about my quarterback rankings for the 2022 NFL season. So, in this video, basically what I'm doing is I'm taking every team's starting quarterback, ranking them from 32 to 1. I'm predicting for this upcoming season. So, this is not a career ranking, this is not based off last season. Um, this is basically taking every quarterback, ranking them based off their talent and traits, and I ranked them 32 to 1. But then I looked at what's around them, what's the coaching staff around them, the players around them that could maybe boost or hurt their play. And I also took into account player development. I'm projecting some players to develop, and I guess you could call it breakout for this season. And so, factoring all that in, the talent, what's around them, the projected development, I rank the quarterbacks from 32 to 1 for this upcoming season. So, without further ado, let's get into the list. Coming in at number 32 on the quarterback rankings, as you see on the screen, I got Desmond Riddle of the Atlanta Falcons. Now, for the Falcons, it's really between Desmond Riddle and Marcus Mariota for the starting job. It's looking like Mariota will be the starter opening day, but I think by midseason, by the back half of the season, Desmond Riddle is going to become the Falcons starter. Desmond Riddle, I wasn't super high on him in the draft. I had a third round grade on him. I do like his deep ball. It's something I like. I think he throws a good deep ball. I think with the combination of Pitts and Jake London, that's something I do think could maybe show a little in his rookie season. But other than that, I think his accuracy is very concerning for me. And I don't see many athletic traits that are going to wow you. I think he has solid athleticism, but I don't think it's that wow athleticism talent that a lot of the young quarterbacks today have in the NFL. So I got Riddle at 32. Now to 31, this is another quarterback battle for the Seahawks between Geno Smith and Drew Lock. It looks like right now Geno Smith is actually QB1 on the depth chart, but I think that Drew Lock is going to end up starting more games in the regular season than Geno Smith, just because I do think Drew Lock is the better quarterback than Geno Smith. But with Drew Lock, with him, it's just his consistency and his just overall accuracy ability. His accuracy and consistency is really what holds him back, and his decision making too. Because he does have the talent, he can make some wow throws, but he can also make a lot of poor throws. So I feel with Locke, we really need to see his overall consistency develop, his accuracy, his pocket presence, and decision making develop. So he has a lot of work to go to become a good quarterback, but he does have the traits. So I got Drew Lock at 31. Now on to 30, Jacoby Brissett, a guy who's been in the league a while. Jacoby Brissett, I see some solid with him as far as being a solid, accurate pocket passer. I just don't see enough ability to elevate a team, in my opinion, and I don't see enough like elite, well, really very good stuff in his game. His deep ball isn't the greatest. His accuracy, though, is solid. His pocket presence, like I said, is solid. I just think there's a lot more quarterbacks who can elevate teams a lot more than Jacoby Brissett is going to elevate the Browns. So I got Jacoby Brissett at number 30. Now on to number 29, I got Jared Goff. Jared Goff is a guy who I think is a solid pocket passer who is good at getting the ball out quick on the screens. He's actually one of the best screen throwers in all of football, but that's interesting. But with Goff, although he does have the arm, he's not very good at attacking the ball downfield and putting the defense on their heels, which with his arm you'd like to see from a former number one pick. And overall, I just think his athletic talent isn't really there. So I got Jared Goff number 29 for the Detroit Lions. Moving on to the next set of guys. On the screen you see here, I have Kenny Pickett at number 28 of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Kenny Pickett, he was by far my favorite quarterback in the past draft in 2022. I think he has a lot of good in his game. His accuracy is very good. His overall athleticism is good. His ability to pass from the pocket stands out. And he also throws a solid deep ball. The only thing that concerns me is sometimes he will step into pressure, and with that Steelers offensive line, could that be a cause for concern? Maybe. But if I was confident that Kenny Pickett was going to start the whole season, I would have him probably a good 4 or 5 spots higher than he is right now, because I really do like Pickett a lot, and I think he has a good future in this league to maybe become a Pro Bowl quarterback by year 3 or 4. But with Pickett, it's just, is he going to start? Is he not? I think by week 8 or so, week 8 or 10, Pickett is going to take over for Mitchell Trubisky, and I think that's why I have him here at 28 and not higher, just because the amount of games played this year I don't think is going to be very high. So I got Pickett at 28. On to 27, I got Davis Mills of the Houston Texans. Davis Mills, he's a guy who has solid accuracy, and as we saw throughout last season, his deep ball and his overall play improved. But he still has a long way to go as far as a pocket passer and getting the ball out under pressure. Whenever he was under pressure last year, he did really struggle in that aspect. So I think that Mills, this is probably his one chance to become the Texans' long time or like full time starter for years to come. And I'm not so confident that he's going to become that, mainly because just I think coming out as a third round pick, I wasn't super high on him, and I think he looked not he wasn't great his rookie season. He was solid, probably a little below average, but just because he was a third round pick, I think he got a little more hype than he actually played on the field. So I got Mills here at number 27. On to 26, I got Baker Mayfield, now of the Carolina Panthers. The Panthers kind of do have a quarterback competition between Baker and Darnold. I actually think that both are going to start a solid amount of games this year. So that's maybe what holds Baker back a little bit. But Baker, he has the good arm talent. He can make plays downfield, and he is overall a solid pocket passer. But where he struggles is his decision making and throwing under pressure when his O line struggles to hold up. But Baker, I think if he starts the full season, I'll probably have him over the guy who I have above him right now on this screen. But with Baker battling with Darnold for the job to be the Panthers' starting quarterback, I think that Baker is going to ultimately start a few more games than Darnold this year. But I think that both are going to start a good amount. So I got Baker at 26. On to 25, I got Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston, he is a good deep ball thrower. I'll give him that. And he does have a good cast to maybe help him out and maybe outplay this ranking. But what concerns me with Winston is his overall inaccuracy. I think he's an inaccurate passer, and I think his decision making is still a cause for concern. I think without Sean Payton there this year, that could maybe hurt the offense a little bit. Actually, it will hurt the offense a little bit, but I think Winston, he's getting a lot of hype. I'm just kind of not buying into it because of his inaccuracy, I think, and his decision making. But he does have a good deep ball, like I said, and a good cast. So we'll see how he performs in 2022. Coming in at number 24 on my quarterback rankings in the NFL for 2022 is Zach Wilson of the New York Jets. Zach Wilson, a guy who I love his talent. I think he has a lot of talent, can make the wow throws, very impressive at throwing on the run and downfield with his arm strength ability. But I think he has to really put it all together. He has to become a more accurate passer than he is right now and a better decision maker than he was last year. And overall, I think that Zach Wilson is going to be a guy who, instead of taking that big, maybe Josh Allen-ish jump, I think is going to slowly progress throughout his career and has a chance to become a good quarterback in this league. But right now, I got Zach Wilson at 24. Moving on to 23, I got Tua Tagovailoa of the Miami Dolphins. Tua Tagovailoa is a little different than Zach Wilson. He's a good, accurate pocket passer along with solid athleticism, but nothing that wows you. His arm strength isn't very good, which kind of hurts his deep ball ability. Although he can be an accurate passer downfield, he just doesn't really push the ball downfield as much as you'd like to see. But he doesn't do a whole lot outside of the system to really elevate the team. And I'd also like to see him improve maybe throwing under pressure. But he does have a good cast around him, which could help Tua. And he could outperform this ranking this year. I could see him being like the 17th, 18th best quarterback in football. But I just think that the quarterbacks I have above him are more talented than Tua, so I got him at 23. Number 22, I got Carson Wentz of the Washington Commanders. Carson Wentz is a guy who is very physically talented. He can make those wild throws, can make throws outside of the pocket. He is good throwing the ball downfield as well. But Carson Wentz, overall, the last couple of years, his consistency and decision making have hurt his ranking for me. I think with Washington this year, he does have receivers around him. I'm a little concerned about his offensive coaching, but because with Frank Reich, he had a good coach last year in Frank Reich, and I don't think he was like replacement level quarterback, but I don't think he was a very top 10, good 12-ish quarterback. I think he was in that mid-tier range last year with the Colts. And with Washington now, could he be that again? It wouldn't shock me if Wentz was in the 16th, 17th ranking after the season, but I just think his situation kind of declined, even though I do like his receivers with Washington. But I got Wentz here at number 22, just like to see him become more consistent and his decision making become more consistent. Got Wentz at 22. On to 21, I got Justin Fields of the Chicago Bears. Justin Fields is a guy who I think is very talented, one of the best throw on run quarterbacks in all of football, and one of the best just pure running quarterbacks in all of football. I think his pocket presence and throwing the ball under pressure are two things that really hurt him for me. And I think that those two things really need to develop for him to take that big jump. I think going into year 3, so not this year, but next year, if the Bears can surround him with more talent than he has right now, they need to build up the O-line, maybe get him more receiving depth outside of Mooney and Cole Kmet, the pass catching tight end. I think he can take that jump into the top 12 to 15 range. But as of now, I think the talent around him kind of hurts him from making that big jump. So I got Justin Fields at number 21 going into full 2022 NFL season. Now on to number 20, I got Daniel Jones of the New York Giants. I like Daniel Jones a lot. I think he is solid from an accuracy standpoint, but I think he throws a very nice deep ball. I think his deep ball is very sneakily good, and I think he is a good runner who can make tough throws, whether that's getting hit in the pocket or outside the pocket on the run. The thing with Daniel Jones is he needs to become a more consistent overall pocket passer and decision maker. Now, especially decision making, because his pocket passing, it's all right, isn't great, isn't horrible. Just like to see him become more consistent in that aspect, as well as decision making. His decision making is what kind of holds him back. I'd like to just see him become more consistent overall as a player, especially as a decision maker. And I think Daniel Jones has a good cast around him and good coaching with Brian Dable coming in as the new head coach. And I think that Daniel Jones is going to show this year that he is a starting quarterback in this league. And I think he's going to have his best season of his career. I got him at number 20. On to number 19, I got Trey Lance of the San Francisco 49ers. First time as a full-time starter for Trey Lance. Trey Lance, a guy who I liked a ton coming out of college. I think his deep ball flashed last year in this small 2-3 game sample size. He showed he can throw the deep ball like he showed in college. And he's just an elite rushing quarterback. He runs with so much power as a quarterback. It almost looks like a running back running. And his arm strength is good. His arm strength allows him to make those tight window throws that we saw in the limited sample size last year. But the big concern, obviously, is the accuracy for Trey Lance. I think he's going to slowly improve, though, as an accurate passer. Not become, like, very accurate, like, right away. But I think he's going to just take slow strides in that aspect. With Kyle Shanahan there, I think Kyle Shanahan puts him in very good position to succeed. And I think Trey Lance, with the rushing ability, the ability to throw the ball downfield, just the overall talent with Shanahan is going to make Trey Lance have a pretty solid deal. So I got him at number 19 here. Now on to number 18, I got Ryan Tannehill of the Tennessee Titans. Ryan Tannehill, a guy who is very poised in the pocket, very good, calm pocket presence, accuracy for Tannehill is good. I think that he can push the ball downfield, especially along the sideline, but it was usually to A.J. Brown, who's not there anymore, which is a little bit of a concern. I think that losing A.J. Brown and the offensive line as a whole regressing is going to maybe hurt Tannehill a little bit. I'd like to see his decision making improve from what it was last year. But I do like Tannehill's running ability. I think he is a good running quarterback. There's lots to like about Tannehill, but there's also those things like the decision making I mentioned and the loss of A.J. Brown and the O line regressing, along with Tannehill just aging, which makes me think could he maybe regress a little bit this year? So I got him at number 18. But moving on to number 17, I got Dak Prescott of the Dallas Cowboys. Dak Prescott, there's lots of good to his game. He's overall a good pocket passer with solid athleticism. He has the ability to make those big time throws, though. His athleticism is solid. It doesn't wow you, but I think that there's lots of talent around him that he lost this year. In looking at Amari Cooper, number 3 receiver last year, Cedric Wilson. Look at Michael Gallup, could miss a couple games early on. You look at the O-line, losing Lyle Collins, Connor Williams, Ezekiel Elliott behind him is probably regressing. So the situation around Dak, I think, has regressed a little bit, which may reflect on his numbers. And I overall just haven't been quite as high on Dak as a lot of people. But it wouldn't shock me if Dak played like the 12th, 13th best quarterback in football this year. But I got him at number 17. Moving on to number 16, I got Mac Jones of the New England Patriots. Mac Jones is a guy who was very impressive in his rookie season. Coming out of college, those who watched him knew good pocket ability and accuracy overall. And he showed that in New England. Obviously, didn't look as good as college because college he was playing against college players, NFL he was playing against NFL players, but it still was good from the pocket and accuracy standpoint from Mac Jones. And I think that's only going to improve going into year 2. He is also very good at getting the ball out quick when under pressure, as well as being a solid deep ball thrower and a good decision maker. With Mac Jones, though, he isn't the most physically talented quarterback, but I think he's good in a lot of the most important aspects of quarterback play. And I think he has the good talent on offense around him with the run game, O-line, solid receiving core to help him be a good quarterback this year. But I think what is a little concerning is the loss of Josh McDaniels as offensive coordinator. And now it sounds like a combination of Joe Judge, Matt Patricia, and Bill Belichick even could be calling plays. So that's a little concerning. But I think with Mac Jones, the ability to be a good quarterback for a long time in this league is there. I got Mac at 16. On to number 15, I got Kirk Cousins of the Minnesota Vikings. Kirk Cousins is a guy who I think is really good from the pocket standpoint and accuracy-wise. It almost looks like robotic with his pocket passing mechanics. He's just like a machine from the pocket passing standpoint. And I think he has an underrated ability to throw on the run. Obviously, it isn't special or anything, but I think it's a little underrated, his ability to throw on the run. I think he has just about an average arm, in my opinion, and deep ball, and he doesn't do much rushing the ball. So that kind of holds him back a little bit from some of the guys above him. But overall, he has good team around him this year on offense especially, and I think he's going to have a good season. I got Kirk Cousins at 15. On to number 14, I got Jalen Hurts of the Philadelphia Eagles. Jalen Hurts is a guy who, from an athletic standpoint, really stands out. Good at running the ball, one of the best rushing quarterbacks in football. But from a throwing standpoint, I think he's good. I think he throws a very nice deep ball, and I think he has the ability to make those wow throws outside of the pocket on the run. Where I think Jalen Hurts has to improve is from the accuracy perspective. We saw it in his rookie year, his accuracy was a little concerning. And this past year, Jalen Hurts' accuracy was a little concerning. And I think from the pocket standpoint, it's solid, it isn't special. That's an aspect he could improve in. But I think with Jalen Hurts' overall athletic talent and deep ball and just his leadership, he has a high floor in this league. And I think he was good last season. I think he's getting a little bit slept on. I think he has a high floor, and I think the talent around him is going to help him out. And I like Nick Sirianni as a coach. I think they found their identity as a rushing offense at the end of last year. So I think that Jalen Hurts' situation he's in, along with his ability, he has that ability to be kind of in that 10 to 15 quarterback range for a long time, like a guy like Dak Prescott and Kirk Cousins. So I got Jalen Hurts at number 14 for 2022. Now on to my number 13 quarterback. I got Kyler Murray of the Arizona Cardinals. Kyler Murray is a guy who is elite from a talent standpoint, just physically talent standpoint. But looking at all his traits, he's got a very good deep ball, one of the best deep balls in football. Accuracy standpoint, good, not great. I think his overall pocket ability hasn't really quite improved how much I would want it to from his rookie season to now, but he's made strides in that aspect. So I like Murray a lot. I think he has the ability to play like a top 7 quarterback in football. It's just the consistency kind of hurts his ranking for me. His consistency hasn't quite been there. And on top of that, he's not going to have DeAndre Hopkins for the first 7 games of the season, which could hurt him a little bit. So I think he needs to improve from the consistency standpoint and as well as throwing the ball over the middle of the field, something that he's gotten criticism for. But I do like Murray a lot, but I got him at number 13 for 2022. Coming in at number 12 on my quarterback rankings, this one's a bit of a projection. I got Trevor Lawrence of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Trevor Lawrence is a guy who I liked a lot of what I saw as a rookie. I think his numbers kind of really showed how bad the situation was, and they weren't as much of a reflection of him as people might think they were. I think that Trevor Lawrence showed the ability to deal with a bad offensive line and situation overall last year. An impressive stat is that he didn't take more than 3 sacks in a game last season, which shows that his ability to protect himself was there. And that's just an overall impressive stat considering the situation and the offensive line. Now, I think Trevor Lawrence throws a good deep ball. I think that's going to show this year with a good deep threat like Christian Kirk there. I think that Trevor Lawrence is also a very good runner and has the ability to make those throws outside the pocket on the run. Overall, I'd like to see Trevor Lawrence clean up his decision making and just become an overall more consistent quarterback than he was last year. Because I think there was a couple highs there, but also a lot of lows. But I think that he improved throughout the season. And I think that with the talent around him now, you add a guy like Brandon Scherff in the offensive line, add a receiver like Christian Kirk. I think with Doug Peterson coming in as head coach, he's going to use a guy like Laviska Shenault better than he was used last year. And I think Travis Etienne coming back from injury is also going to help. And I also think James Robinson is going to have a year that was more similar to his rookie season than his last year's season. So I like Trevor Lawrence a lot. I like the talent around him. I think he's going to be the breakout quarterback of this season. I got him at number 12. On to number 11, I got Matthew Stafford of the Los Angeles Rams. Stafford coming off a Super Bowl with the Rams. I got him at 11. I like his pocket presence a lot. That's what stands out. Very good pocket passer. He also throws an electric deep ball. He's very clutch. So those are 3 things you really like to see from your quarterback. Couple concerns. He's not the most accurate quarterback. He isn't going to do much outside the pocket, but it didn't hold the Rams back from winning the Super Bowl last year, and that's what matters. But I'd like to see Stafford's decision-making improve from last season. Tie for the league in picks. Like to see him cut those down a little bit. But he's got a good coach in Sean McVay, a good supporting cast, guys like Cooper Kupp, Van Jefferson, Allen Robinson, Tyler Higbee. Offensive line still solid. I think it's going to help him put up good numbers, and Stafford's going to have a good season. I got him at number 11. At number 10, I got Matt Ryan of the Indianapolis Colts. Matt Ryan got traded from the Falcons to the Colts this offseason. I like Matt Ryan a lot. I think he still has some left in the tank. I think he's still a very accurate, very good pocket passer, and he's very good throwing the ball under pressure due to his ability to get the ball out quick. Very quick release. Had to release the ball quick last year with the Falcons' offensive line. Now he's going to one of the better offensive lines in football with the Colts, which I think is really going to help him out a lot. And I think that his arm is still there. I think his deep ball is still there. I think the good coaching around him, the good cast around him, run game, all that is going to help Matt Ryan have his best season since 2018. Moving on to number 9, I got Lamar Jackson of the Baltimore Ravens. Lamar Jackson is a good passer. He is a very underrated passer in my opinion. Been getting a lot of criticism lately, but I think he has progressed as a passer throughout his career. I think he plays strong in the pocket. He's accurate, and we all know how good of a runner he is. I think outside of last season, he has been a good decision maker on the football field overall. I think from a trade standpoint, I'd probably have Lamar Jackson a few spots higher than number 9. But in that offense, with the not so great receivers outside of Mark Andrews, the tight end, and Rashad Bateman, who I think is going to have a good season, I think that kind of holds his numbers back. I think the receivers kind of hold Lamar Jackson's numbers back, which is not going to really, his numbers are not going to really show that he should be any higher than this at the end of the year. But I think from a trade standpoint, I probably have him a couple spots higher than this. So I got Lamar Jackson at number 9. My number 8 quarterback in the NFL in 2022 is the reigning back-to-back MVP, Aaron Rodgers. Now, this may sound a little bit of a hot take, but I personally did not think Rodgers was the MVP of football last year. He did win it, though, so got to give him credit for that. But I think Rodgers, first let's talk about his traits and everything. Obviously, very good from a decision-making aspect on the football field. Doesn't turn the ball over much at all. He's an elite pocket passer, very good from an accuracy standpoint. But what holds him from being higher on this list is, I think, physically, over the last couple of years, he has declined slightly in that aspect due to his aging. I think his deep ball still good, isn't elite or as good as it used to be. And Rodgers, he isn't very clutch in those big games in the playoffs. I like to see him play better than he has. I think what makes me think Rodgers is going to decline this season is the loss of Davante Adams, as well as the O-line being the worst it's been in years for the Packers. I think Rodgers is still going to have a good touchdown-to-interception ratio, but I think the Packers as an offense overall are going to be more of a rushing offense this year with guys like A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones. And I think that his touchdown numbers, Rodgers' touchdown numbers, aren't going to be super high without Davante Adams. So I got Rodgers at number 8. Would it shock me if he played like the third, fourth, fifth best quarterback in football? No. But I got Rodgers number 8. Moving on to number 7, I got Derek Carr. I love Derek Carr a lot. I think he really has improved as far as an aggressive deep ball thrower down the field over the last couple of seasons. Carr has a very quick release, good decision maker, very good from the pocket. He knows when to throw the football away. He is also very accurate and super clutch. For example, the Raiders were 4-0 in overtime games last year, and I believe Derek Carr led the league in game-winning drives. Derek Carr, just a very clutch quarterback. I like Derek Carr a lot. Derek Carr, I think, is going to put up the best numbers of his career with the addition of Davante Adams. The offensive line is a little concerning for the Raiders, but I think with Josh McDaniels, good running backs, Davante Adams, Hunter Renfrow, and Darren Waller, this offense is going to be electric, and Carr is going to put up some very good numbers. So I got Derek Carr at number 7 this season. On to Russell Wilson. I got Russell Wilson now of the Denver Broncos, traded from the Seahawks to the Broncos this offseason at number 6. Wilson, very talented quarterback. He throws one of the best deep balls in all of football. He's very accurate. He's a good improviser. Wilson isn't the best pocket passer in football, but he's still solid from that standpoint. And I think that Wilson has a solid situation in Denver. Losing Tim Patrick for the year hurts, but they still got some solid weapons, good run game. I like Nathaniel Hackett as a coach, and I think that Wilson is going to have a very good season. So I got Russell Wilson at number 6. On to my number 5 quarterback, the GOAT himself, Tom Brady. Tom Brady, he is a very good elite pocket passer, elite accuracy, very smart with the football. He's still going strong at age 45 now in the NFL. He obviously isn't going to do much outside the pocket because he is 45 years old, but I think Tom Brady still very good to elite in the most important aspects of football, which is the deep ball, the accuracy, the pocket presence. And I think that the situation around Tom Brady is still very good, and he's going to put up very good numbers this year and maybe even win another Super Bowl. So I got Tom Brady at number 5. My number 4 quarterback for the 2022 NFL season is Patrick Mahomes of the Kansas City Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes, we all know he's an elite talent. He's very good. One of the best quarterbacks, if not the best quarterback in football right now, has been for the last 3 to 4 years. My only knock on Mahomes is sometimes he is very quick to escape the pocket, even when he's not being pressured. I think Mahomes is still going to have a good season. That's why I have him at number 4. But it may be maybe a little bit of an adjustment period. The loss of Tyreek Hill could hurt a little bit, and I just think when it comes down to it, I just think 3 quarterbacks are going to be better than Mahomes this year. But Mahomes still very good, elite talent, one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL the last 3-4 years, probably the best quarterback in the NFL the last 3-4 years. So I got Patrick Mahomes at number 4. On to number 3, I got Justin Herbert of the Los Angeles Chargers. Herbert is one of the most talented quarterbacks in football. What really stands out is his ability to throw the football under pressure, as well as making those just wow throws. I'd like to see Herbert become a little bit more consistent with his accuracy, though. That was a little inconsistent from time to time last year, but I think that's only going to improve. And I think Herbert has lots of talent around him on offense, along with a good offensive coach who I think may be a head coach this time next year in Joe Lombardi. And I think that Justin Herbert is going to play MVP caliber football in 2022. So I got Justin Herbert of the Chargers at number 3. Moving on to number 2, I got Joe Burrow. Now, 2 and 1 were neck and neck. Well, really all 4 of these, but really 2 and 1 were neck and neck. So hard to pick from. But I'm going to go with Joe Burrow at number 2. I think he's maybe the most complete quarterback in football. He's arguably the most accurate quarterback in football, one of the best pocket passers. Burrow throws an elite deep ball. He can make plays when under pressure. He's a good runner, as well as just an overall very consistent, good quarterback. I think Burrow should have been the MVP of football last year. What he did with that Bengals team, they were like 28th or 29th in Super Bowl odds, maybe even 30th, something like that, going into last season. And this team went to the Super Bowl. That was so impressive. I think Burrow should have been the MVP of football last season. And I think this season, with an upgraded offensive line, I think he has a very good chance to win MVP this year. But I got Burrow at number 2. My number 1 guy, my MVP of football this year, is Josh Allen of the Buffalo Bills. Josh Allen is the Bills' offense. Josh Allen is the Bills' offense, especially now without Brian Daboll as the offensive coordinator. Allen is arguably the most physically imposing quarterback in football with his cannon of an arm, his ability to run with power, almost like a running back. He's strong in the pocket. His accuracy has significantly improved throughout his entire career so far. And I think that the only concern maybe with Allen is that he's lost Brian Daboll as his offensive coordinator, who's really been a crucial part in his career and development. But I think Josh Allen's going to be just fine. Considering that the Bills just moved the quarterback coach, Ken Dorsey, up to offensive coordinator, and Allen seems to like Ken Dorsey a lot, I think that Allen's going to be fine without Daboll. The Bills' offense will be similar to what it was before. Only thing with Allen, though, is I'd like to see him just cut out those inconsistent games last year, like we saw versus the Jags, the Colts. I think if Allen cuts out those inconsistent games, which I think he will, he can be the MVP of football, like I have him being right now. So I got Josh Allen at number 1 on my quarterback rankings in the NFL for 2022. So that's going to do it for my quarterback rankings, projected quarterback rankings for the NFL in 2022. Thank you for watching this video. Make sure to subscribe. Going to be posting lots of content here, especially with the season coming up. Be on the lookout for my next video, which will be ranking every NFL offense for 2022. Also, be on the lookout for my weekly podcast with my co-host Graham, which is going to be live streamed here on YouTube sometime this week, likely tomorrow night. So be on the lookout for that video, for that podcast live stream. And appreciate you for tuning into the video. Goodbye.